Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's episode 168 of the Audible Farm podcast, and this episode is brought to you by Couchtown Coffee. Couchtown Coffee is roasted right here in Iowa. It's my favorite coffee. You should check it out. Go to couchtowncoffee.com, find a coffee you like, and they'll roast it any way you want it for them. You can get dark roast, you can get medium roast, you can get light roast. What else is great about it? They'll ship it to your house. Oh my gosh, it's been a godsend over the years to have coffee shipped to my house. Some of the freshest roasted coffee I've ever had, too. And what's even better, they'll give you 20% off. Why? Because Couchtown Coffee is that awesome. So when you find a coffee you like at couchtowncoffee.com, just tell them Audible Farm sent you and they'll give you 20% off. Why? Because Couchtown Coffee is that awesome. Thanks, Couchtown. This week, I'm sitting down with Scott Kirkhart. He's been on the podcast a few times before. We talk about things he's got going on in his musical endeavors as of late. We all know him as a solo musician. We also know him as, I guess you could say, the father of Broken Strings. You know, he kind of got all that started. We also know him as somebody that plays with Salty Views. Little do we know he's got a new project in the works. So we talk about that. We talk about some upcoming stuff in Broken Strings. We talk about shows he has coming up as well. He's got plenty of shows coming up in the near future. So check those out. This is a great episode. I'm sorry it's out late, everybody. Feeling a little under the weather, but I'm glad to get this episode out the day it was supposed to, albeit a little bit late. But thank you guys for being patient with me. This is episode 168 with my good friend, Scott Kirkhart.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
All right, so yeah, let's give her a go here. So I'm sitting down today with Scott Kirkhart. Scott, you've been on the podcast a handful of times.
A few.
I think, let's see here. You were on solo first before Salty View. You were on that episode too.
Yep.
But then a handful of other times we've talked about lots of things. Solo music, Salty View, music videos you've had come out, Broken Strings. I have the Broken Strings
Nice
hat
hat,
on. There it
by the
is.
way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got a little bit of everything. I think I got like the Matt. No, I got the Vinny and the Night Prowler shirt on. I got, let's see here. I got the Mike Walsh One More Beer koozie on my not a beer.
And I'm wearing FedEx clothes.
I guess I'm just the poster boy for everything.
It's all right.
But yeah, I mean, that just goes to show you. I'll buy your merch. If you got merch, hit me up. But yeah, so it's been a while since we've sat down and talked, and I do know that you've had some things in the works. Like, have you always had this Kerkhart banner back here?
Nope. This is all brand new.
Brand new.
Yeah, this is the new logo that I created, actually.
You made that?
I did.
Nice.
Yep. And now we got a full band as well. So.
Cool. Is that going to be called Kerkhart?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Cool.
So what kind of music are you guys going to be playing in the full band?
My originals, and then some more of the progressive country, newer country, you know, like Hardy and Jameson Rogers.
Okay.
And we'll probably throw a little classic rock in there too.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with some classic rock, you know.
Work the crowd a little bit.
Yeah,
know?
Exactly. So is it going to be like a little bit different than the Salty Views kind of thing?
A lot different than Salty Views. So so I finally decided that, listen, I'm 45 years old, man, and I want to make a go of this, and I'm gonna do it. I want full production. I want full lights, and I mean, we're gonna have a 2-hour set, no breaks, nonstop.
Yep.
You know, I'm gonna have an opener, and it's gonna be a show. It isn't gonna be a bar. You know, nothing wrong with the bar band or anything like that, but the bars that we want to go into and direct into will be the larger bars, and that's just kind of what we're going to try to do.
Yeah. I mean, and I get what you're saying there too, though. Like, you go whole hog on it. You kind of want to reach a different clientele than just like the bar band scene. I mean, we talked about it a little bit on a previous podcast, maybe even the last one with Jason Boggs, we touched on it. But yeah, I mean, like, it kind of depends on what you want to get out of your music. And you can kind of, like, since you're the one creating the art, you can tell everyone, like, this is kind of what I'm going for. So
yep.
You can kind of enter yourself into whatever realm you want to, but you've played in enough things, like either being solo or with Salty View, that you've kind of got a taste of pretty much a lot of it anyways.
Yeah. So. Like I said, I wanted always wanted that. Let's have a big band, and we're gonna just go all out. You know, I want people to, when they come to the show, it's a concert. We're going to put on a concert, you know, and that's just kind of what I've always wanted to do. So I just said, we're going to do it. And I got the right people behind me now, and we're just going to go for it.
Yeah. Who all's in the band?
Well, so I got Andy Shelley's playing drums.
Nice.
Andy Shelley was Saucy Jack for 20 plus years.
Was he playing with Ronley?
He's playing with Ronley Blues Band too.
Cool. Yeah. Saw those guys play the other day.
I got Brady O'Brien. He's a 17-year-old on keys.
Oh yeah. He runs the lights.
Yeah, he runs the lights.
I remember we talked about this once, and it was just like, you play keyboards too? Like didn't tell anyone.
Right. And like he says, well, I play a little keys, and I looked at him and I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean chopsticks, you know,
right, and
heart and soul.
Dude, the kid is freaking phenomenal, and I mean, like, blow you away, phenomenal.
That's cool.
So
I think it's tough to find a keyboard. There's like a bazillion keyboardists, pianists, organ players, etc., but not many that could fit in with a band. Does that make sense? Right.
Yeah. No, truth. And he does everything. I mean, you know, he's doing this Brady O'Brien live, and we'll talk more about that here shortly. But he blew me away on keys, and we were doing stuff like Journey, you know, like Highway Run, you know, and we're just, I looked at him and I was like, how come you're not in a band yet? And he's like, I said, you want to be? And he says, yeah, let's do this.
That's awesome.
So he's in there. I looked for a bass player for a long time, and you know, there's so many good bass players out there. You got Brad, you got Alex Trevino, you know, and the problem with all those guys is they're always so busy doing other stuff.
Yeah.
So I finally went back to my good old friend Dan Irvin, one of my best friends. I played in the Highway 7 band with him, and I when I first wanted to try to get this together, I asked him. I said, "Hey, you interested?" No, I'm retired. I don't think so. And I was like, oh, all right, you know. And I see him one day at Fairway after work one night. I had to get some food, and I was like, hey, man, you know, I got Andy Shelley playing drums, and I got some keys now. You sure you're not interested in playing bass again? And it was about 5 minutes after I seen him, he texts me. He says, send me your set list.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, once you get this set list, Dan, you realize that you're in, right? And he goes, yeah, I know, damn it. So anyway, so Dan Irvin's on bass, myself on guitar and singing lead, and then we looked for a lead guitar player for a really long time, and we had a guy out of Des Moines that was going to come over and play, but logistically it just wasn't there, and
I know all about that logistic nightmare.
yeah. You know, Jay Schneider was going to play. He played with Brad Morgan and stuff, and I was going to hit you up. I hit Vino up if he wanted to play some leads and stuff like that, and I was just kind of like, well, I don't really know anybody else, and I just felt like I needed a lead guitar player, and so Brady actually says, well, my brother Mason's not playing anymore and not doing anything. He says, are you interested in maybe seeing what Mason can do? And I said, well, let's find out. So I went to Mason O'Brien, and you know, he's playing Section 7, and I said, Mason, are you up for coming and just jamming with us for a night? And he did, and it was a perfect fit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I think I've known Dan. I do know Dan. I've met him a few times.
Yeah. Well, that's Owen. That's Owen's stepdad.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So like I've seen him either like I usually end up giving Owen a ride home or picking him up, one or the other from like a show. So I always like see Dan either drop him off or pick him up or whatever, you know. Yeah. So I've seen him around and stuff, and it makes me wonder like I know Dan's come to some shows and just sat and watched, and Jesse's tried to get him to come up and play before, because that's kind of Jesse's thing. If he sees a musician out there, he's like, get up here and play a song with us. I don't care if you're playing bass or a different drummer or whatever it is. And Dan just wouldn't do it, you know. And it's just like one of those things where it's like, Dan just doesn't want to play anymore, you know. And I kind of just figured he didn't. But then it makes me think like maybe going to those shows and seeing Owen play, he was just like, I got to get back up there.
Yeah, you know, and I don't know really what it was for sure. But, you know, and I played with Dan before. We were together for like 2 years in Highway 7. we just hit it off. We were buddies, the whole time. And he's probably one of the most solid bass players that I've ever played or had a chance to play with. Mm-hmm. He's great. He's flamboyant when it comes to working the crowd as well. And that's kind of what I was looking for. I want when they come see Kerkhart, I want people to have a hell of a good time and then walk away and go, holy cow, this is a small town guy here. What's he doing, right?
Yep.
And so that's why I asked Dan, and I finally got him to do it again. So that's good.
There is something to be said about working the crowd though too, because I play with Three Finger Betty, and I think it was like a conversation I had with Jeremy Ober a couple years back where he was just like, if you're playing a high energy band and you're all just standing still, it doesn't translate well. You got to be high energy on stage. So I started moving around a lot more on stage and things like that. And it's well, this could apply to a lot of things. Granted, you can't be diving off the stage if you're playing country music, really. But
well, now hold on now.
But
first of all, I'm not going to dive off stage. But
Dan, you're in.
Yeah, Dan would probably. But it was just one of those things that, and not only did I also wanted to be able to put down the guitar for a change.
Ooh.
And have a wireless mic and be able to sing and get the crowd into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what, and we're playing, a lot of that new country that we're playing is like classic Southern rock, is what it is. And it's powerful, it's high energy, and that's the kind of show that we're going to try to put off, is what it's going to be. So
that'd be awesome. I used to always think wireless mics. When I was growing up, first doing stuff, I was like, I can't have a wireless mic. Who has wireless mics? What are you talking about? What do you drive through at the Hardee's or something here?
Right, yeah.
Backstreet Boys?
Headset, Garth Brooks wireless mics? No.
And then after a while, I was like, actually, a wireless mic could be pretty awesome, though. But are you talking handheld wireless or over-the-ear wireless?
Handheld wireless.
Okay, all right. Yes. So you're not going to go...
No, I'm not going to go full Garth Brooks. No,
all right.
No.
All right.
I was watching a YouTube video, and it was actually of Hardy one time. And Hardy's a new country guy, up-and-coming country guy. He's got some killer music. He's got a song on the top of the charts right now. Mm-hmm. And he's playing all over the place. And he's just, he's not your traditional cowboy hat wearing country guy. That's not what some of the newer country is anymore. He wears Nike tennis shoes and a hat, and he's got these weird glasses on, and he rocks. He just let out this brand new, or he did his version of Blurry, so he loves rock music, and that's just what he's doing. So, and that's kind of where I come from too. I'm a rocker, I always have been. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I want our music to sound like.
Yeah.
Especially when I got a handful of originals, and we've been writing for a long time already, and some of the new songs are pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Which is great.
So some of these new songs, did you write them with a full band in mind, or did you write them like your other songs where it's I could do this acoustic solo?
I wrote them on acoustic.
Okay.
But always had in the back of my mind this would sound killer with a full band, and just laying into it and rocking it,
Yeah. It kind of blows me away that you haven't had a full band. You've just played Scott Kirkhart solo songs almost entirely, or have you ever brought anyone else in with you?
No. As far as on my original stuff,
yeah.
No, other than the studio work, no.
Huh.
When I'll Do Me has been a huge song for me, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But when I wrote it, and then we added the piano to it, well, it hasn't been played with piano since I was in the studio, other than the studio track. And I had Brady come to Carroll Brewing Company with me one day, and I had him learn I'll Do Me, and, we played it. Everybody was the whole crowd was singing it back to me, and that is the coolest, number one feeling you could ever have.
Yep.
And that's the way it sounded in the recording, and that's the way it's supposed to be,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
So when you wrote that song, were you thinking keyboard should go in here, or was that something in the studio? Someone's let's toss this in there.
That was something in the studio, actually, that we kind of just tossed in. I had it on the acoustic guitar. I did a scratch track, and then I said, "What do you think?" I did it at Forte Studios in Boone, and I said, "What do you think, Josh? Josh Jacobson is over there. He's a great dude." And he says, well, maybe we should add a little keys in there and some strings behind it too, And So we kind of added the strings, and then we had a buddy of mine, Kerry Belgrave from Okoboji area. He came down and recorded keys for me for that, and it just brought the whole song to life. Well, and I haven't played that since that way.
Yeah.
Until Brady started coming around. And
so do you think this is gonna, if you have a full band that you start playing with more often, is this gonna take over like as your full-time gig, or are you gonna still do solo acoustic shows?
I'm gonna do both. I hate to say it, but my plan is I'm gonna try to go full-time music.
Yeah.
In 2022.
It's possible.
I've been at FedEx for 19 years. And nothing against it. I love it, but I don't want to be 65 years old and regret that I didn't try it just once.
Yeah, true. Plus, I mean, you don't want to be 65 years old and beat up from delivering packages.
Well, no, I'd rather be beat up from jumping
hauling
off
gear.
stages, right?
Yeah, jumping off stage. I was thinking hauling gear.
Or hauling gear.
Yeah, I got to pick up this Triflex and carry it across the room.
I'm just going to try it. It's a passion of mine, and why not?
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: like, I've had some part-time jobs in my life, and some of them were like, this is the only job I have at the moment. So, like, I mean, granted, I was really, really young, but I've made more money playing music than I have working at some of those part-time jobs. So, like, you can get close. Like, I mean, you'd have to stay busy, which I don't doubt you would. I mean, look at like people like Chris Carr, Vino's in like 19 bands, like all the people we know that are full-time musicians are playing 4 or 5 times a week. But it's possible.
During the summertime, I'm playing 3-4 times a week.
Yeah.
On top of working full-time for FedEx.
Yeah, no kidding.
On top of doing broken strings.
Yep.
On top of, my son's a senior this year. Allie's in college now.
Yep.
So my babies are raised. It's time for me to go out and try it. Why not just try it?
Yeah, why not?
I want to write more. I want to record more. I want to play live,
I think that's going to be the big kicker is like if you have the free time, like finding the balance of like, do I just write a million songs or do I write like 50 songs and then record 20 of them, or how do I do this?
I don't know. A song is a song. I mean, it comes a little bit different every time because next thing you know, like I'm totally writer's block right now. Like completely. Like I haven't sat down with my guitar for probably a month and wrote anything. Before that, it was like every 2 days I would set at 5 o'clock in the morning and wake up and set out in the garage, and next thing you know, a song just pops up. Here it is.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'll happen again, and I'm sure it probably will. But
that's true.
Just certain things. But I would love to do. I don't want to be. It doesn't. I just want people to enjoy my music. And if I can make a living off of it.
True, yeah.
And then to me, that's being successful as far as the music industry goes.
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't have to make $1 zillion and travel the world and also, not that wouldn't be a good thing, but still,
right.
like,
it'd be fun, but.
Gosh, I want to say, like, I think MC Hammer once said it's better not to have a record contract because you can make more money selling like out of your own trunk than you can. But he also didn't pay taxes, so yeah, like I think he got caught with that. Caught up with that sometimes.
Neither did Willie Nelson for a while either.
Oh well, yeah, they'll catch you. They will catch you.
Right.
But especially if you're running around saying you're a full-time musician. So, but
and I don't. I don't know when exactly next year. I mean, it's just my goal.
Yeah.
I hope I can achieve it. You know. I don't know when we're going to start playing as a band, but when we do, we want to hit the bigger cities, Des Moines, Omaha, Lincoln, Minneapolis. Yeah,
do you have any like big plans? Like, I want to try and hit this show. I want to try and hit that show.
We've got some few ones. I got a booking agent now.
Cool.
Which is going to help a lot. Plus, along with my solo stuff too, which is getting huge. And Salty Views as well. So it's going to be busy.
It is going to be busy. I mean, you thought you were busy before. I mean, all you're going to do pretty much is like get rid of a job and add another one. Like it's literally like add another band.
Yeah,
so
it is. I don't know. I got a lot of things in my back pocket, so we're gonna find out what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't remember when you first came on the podcast. Maybe episode 30, 40, 50, somewhere in there. First year probably, but like. it makes me think, like how far you've come in that amount of time. I mean, it might just seem like you've only put out a couple music videos and done Broken Strings since then, but you've been like super busy, in the background, like we said, kind of creating this band that maybe people don't even know you're doing.
Yeah, most people don't. Actually, this would probably be about the first time that.
I mean,
some people do, some people don't. The people close to me do. I mean, I talked to you about it a little bit. And,
yeah, when we talked about doing an episode, you were like, we could talk about the band I'm making. I was just like, oh, yeah,
right.
Because it's not something you're throwing out there,
and we got this studio. We worked together and got this, and we all kind of band together and got it ready. So this is our place.
Nice.
We have a designated place. Nobody knows where it's at, which is kind of cool, except for a few select people.
We are underground.
Yes. 4 stories underground.
It's a bunker.
It's awesome. Like off at Air Force Base or something.
Sweet. There's aliens in the other room. UFO parts.
We just, this is our place, which is kind of really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is neat to have a place like this. Like, even if it's at someone else's house, and they've got a designated space at their house for it, it's kind of like, that's kind of nice,
It is.
Whether it's like they have a garage and that's where we keep all our stuff, or like it's their basement and nothing else is in there,
Right.
It's kind of nice to have a dedicated space to bring all your stuff and come in.
And we can just leave it here, and
it feels kind of like home, almost.
It is home. I mean, we spend a lot of time here, and even when we're not rehearsing as the band, I come in and work solo stuff, and practice a lot.
Yeah.
After work, or I just come right after work, and I'm probably here till 9, 10, 10:30 at night, and then drive home and go to home.
Nice. It's not so bad, man. It doesn't sound like a bad life,
Right.
I mean, now just imagine this is all you do. That'd be pretty awesome.
Truth.
I mean, there's that catch-22. I mean, you're definitely treading into some uncharted territories, but we do have people like in our peer group that are full-time musicians that could do it too. So,
right.
They've shown that you have the ability,
So and we do. And if it wasn't for Clint and Ober and Chris Carr and those, I don't know if I'd have the balls enough to try it.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I honestly, man, I don't know if I still do or not yet. I'm just like, oh boy, here we go. What do we do? So it's just, I want to be able to support myself and my kids. And to me, I guess that's a successful musician. I mean, as long as you can do that and sustain yourself.
It's true.
Of course, everybody wants a hit song, but the likelihood of that happening sometimes just isn't always there.
Yeah, I mean,
but
you have had a couple songs get quite a few listens and views on places.
I have a lot of streams on I'll Do Me, a lot of streams on Stiff Drink.
Yes.
Jesse and I were doing,
Oh my gosh, that song.
Oh, you should hear that.
That song destroys. Oh, I never thought about it. There's going to be two bands doing. I'm sorry for yelling in the mic. There's going to be 2 bands doing Stiff Drink now.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking killer.
Absolutely, there is.
That's so cool.
And I want Jesse to come up on stage with us too. If he can, and that's going to be pretty neat.
Oh, I didn't even think that never even crossed my mind. That's a mind blower. That's gonna be so cool. There's gonna be because when we play that song, it destroys. Everybody loves it.
Yeah. No, I know. And even when I play it solo, everybody's just like, everybody loves that song. And when people see Jesse and I get up together, which doesn't happen very often because we're always busy.
Yeah, either playing shows or
everybody's
whatever.
Like, and it's just like, which is cool. What a way to, because we wrote that song. That was crazy. It was, we text each other the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's how we wrote it.
Yep. Yeah. Weird. He was like screenshotting the text messages and sending them back to me. And he's like, what do you think of this? And I'm like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah,
that song is like just coming together like that.
It was weird, and he was working and I was working and I was just like, I don't know, it was just rolling off my head.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, yeah, well, maybe we could. And I had a rhythm in my head, know. And at first he was kind of like, how about this? And I was like, no, not quite. And then all of a sudden it was like it clicked, and he's like, oh, okay, how about this? And I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that actually brings up another good point. Where like featuring other people on studio songs. I think that's a great idea. It's a great way to branch out. It's a great way to put some light on some other people. Because it's like, well, maybe they like you, so now they checked out Jesse, or maybe Jesse's people now know who you are, etc.
I mean, it's networking. And that's what this is. I mean, look how many, I can't tell you the amount of people that I have met just in music. And I don't mean like my musician friends. I mean like people, like fans, dedicated fans who are like, they follow you around. I went and played at Lake of the Ozarks this last summer, solo. And I had 18 people from the Lakeview area come down there.
Oh, whoa.
I had
cool.
one guy come from Nashville because he went to see Nathaniel Radcliffe and the Night Sweats or whatever it is in Nashville, drove from Nashville, Tennessee to Lake of the Ozarks on Saturday so he could watch my show on Saturday night.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I'm just like, wow, this is awesome, I
didn't even think about it. A lady I work with goes down there every weekend. I should have told her to go, but
I'll be down there a lot this summer.
Nice. That's going to be so cool.
Yeah. So that's what it is. It's networking and meeting people and being humble. Because, man, we don't know how long we're on this ride for. Dude, after this last year, some of my good friends have passed away. And I don't know what the hell's going to happen in this next coming year, the next 5 years.
Exactly.
Why not live for now and meet new people and that's what being a musician's all about. And Jesse's got some killer fans that are all my fans as well. And, man, when we did that Stiff Drink video, they loved it. They had a blast over there.
Yeah,
and that created lifelong friends and fans for him too.
Yeah, a pile of people showed up to be in your music video and stuff. As extras.
And I got like Ober and Clint and all those guys that come and they do like Broken String stuff, and people just love and admire those guys. And let's face it, we got some of the best damn musicians in the state of Iowa right here in Fort Dodge.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think some of that has to do with like the climate that was set in place here for us to kind of establish ourselves in.
You think so?
Yeah. So like, yes, we are all talented, etc., but it's because of there's no drama up here, and I'm not trying to say there's drama other places, but nobody up here heckles one another. Nobody up here tears one another down.
No.
I mean,
we heckle each other, but for fun.
Yes. And I mean, like, yes, sometimes people will say one thing or another when someone else isn't around, but it's not like we're being mean about anything, It's mostly just comes from a point like almost like a family standpoint. We care about everyone around here, and we want to see everyone do good. And you want to go to your friend's show and watch them play well. It's not like we're going there just like, I hope they mess up so I get more bookings at this place. There's never any of that goes on up here.
No, no, there's not. And we get a lot of different bookings from, like I'm playing at El Rey's, I think, in Iowa City, January 30th or something like that. And I would have never thought El Rey's. Where is that at? I came from Clint's. Like, hey man, you should check this place out. Yeah,
and that was one that I think like him and Jesse just showed up to like an singer songwriter thing and just played some songs at a random week, and they started booking them. Because Jesse and I have been down there a few times. So
I heard it's a pretty cool play. Well, then Corey Waller and Wicked
nice.
just played there last weekend too. Good for them guys.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's a nice place. I think the person who owns that place might own some places elsewhere, like St. Louis and Nashville.
Yeah, see what I mean? So and then all of a sudden, here you go.
Yep.
But that's kind of the way it is. I played at the Tire Biters Peanut Pub at Lake of the Ozarks. Played a 2-night deal. And I probably got 6 or 7 different bookings from 6 or 7 different bars down there.
Nice.
For next summer already,
That's awesome.
So it's...
Yeah, word does travel. And believe it or not, there are bar owners that will just go to other bars while music's playing just to see who's there, and it's not like they're like talent scouts showing up to book you. But guess what? They kind of are.
Yep, they are.
Like you don't know where Nate from Bootleggers is lurking around because he's always doing that.
Always.
He's always at a show and just randomly booking people.
Yeah.
Because you want to try it? Come on over to my bar and try it.
Fort Dodge,
give it a whirl. I'll give you some. I'll give you some money.
Fort Dodge is tremendous for supporting live music all over.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's pretty wild when there's like 3-4 shows in town on one night.
You got Amigos, you got Sneakers, you got Shiny Top, you got River Hops, you got Native Bootleggers, you got
Community Tap.
Community Tap. You got the Eagles now. That's going to do it. Boardroom, I think they call it now.
I'm trying to think of other places, but
Four Seasons, which isn't Four Seasons, it's Country something now.
They changed it again?
Yeah, they changed it. Yeah.
Oh no,
I'm not sure what that was.
I can never remember.
About,
what was it before? Kings?
Yeah, it was Kings before. Lounge. But I mean, they just people love live music around here.
They do, honestly.
But people love live music everywhere you go.
That's true.
I mean, you go to Waterloo, Cedar Falls, Iowa City, Des Moines, some places don't like to pay sometimes,
Yeah, and some of that's the climate, though. When there's 400 bands willing to play shows for almost nothing, Well,
we need to change that.
Yeah, and I mean, that's... Okay, so let me, throw this out there this way. So, when I used to go to piles of independent pro wrestling shows, and there were dudes that would get done training that would be pretty good, but they'd be willing to, ride in the backseat of a car and pitch in gas money to maybe get the opportunity to wrestle on a show if somebody didn't show up. And it's like, I'll bring my gear with, I'll pay you gas money, I'll sit in the back, and if somebody doesn't show up and they're offering $10, I'll take it to wrestle for the night. And it's like, we always used to say hot dog and a handshake, and that's
right.
But imagine that works on a lot of different levels. So there's people willing to work menial jobs for no money, and that's why some jobs have low pay, and that's no different than musicians. There's so many bands out there willing to play for almost nothing.
I know.
Just to have a time to play, just so.
My advice to those musicians, as I'm not going to say I'm a businessman, but as somebody business-wise when it comes to music, you put so many hours into your trade every single day, from the time that you started learning how to play guitar to the time now that you put in to learn new sets and learn new songs and learn these new lyrics. How much time do you spend of your life playing music and learning? You are building your trade, and that is worth more than $100 for a 4-hour gig.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't want to call anybody out, but I've played on a lot of those shows where it's just your band gets $17. Yeah, we played a 45-minute set, but $17 to split as a band, what's that all about?
5 people?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. He's just what are you talking about?
Gas, man.
No, if I took it all and put it in my gas tank, it wouldn't pay my gas to Des Moines and back.
And gas is getting expensive again.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I'm not, do what you want to do. I just think that as musicians and talented musicians, Dave Grohl always said, one of my idols of music, he always said that if you got a bunch of songs and some buddies, go out and play.
Yeah.
Just go out and play as much as you possibly can. People are going to notice you.
Yes.
If you're good, they're going to love you, and they're going to follow you, and they're going to tell their friends about them, and then they're going to follow you. And
it's a thing.
You don't have to stand in front of a TV show and wait in line for 2 hours to try to get somebody to notice you.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do the whole reality TV singer or whatever thing.
Yeah, nothing wrong with those shows. They're cool,
Yeah,
but
and I get that. There's a reason Three Finger Betty fields so many bookings, and I mean, granted, I'm so busy now, and everyone in the band is doing so much personally right now that it's tough for us to take every booking that comes our way. But we one year we played 42 shows. And it's a punk band in Des Moines played 42 shows.
Awesome.
That doesn't even make any sense. But people realize we're here to stay. We're solid every time. So if they want to, they can hit us up. And
I don't honestly. I'd have to look back at my schedule book and see how many times I played this year, because I got to be over 100.
I bet it's close.
It's
I've got mine
solos and.
I've got mine down still somewhere. I did the same thing as you. I have a scheduling book, but mine's pretty much just to almost bookkeep on my time, because that's where I'm trying to figure out how many hours did I spend on the road this year? Because I don't know, when I was going to school in Des Moines but living in Humboldt and working in Emmitsburg, I was just
always on the road.
Oh, it's horrible. It's I spend 25 hours on the road, but I work 40 hours a week and I'm going to school. It's horrible. So I started trying to take account for that. But that's, what I took into playing music this year. It was just I guess I feel I'm taking candy from a baby getting paid at shows. But at the same time, it's like you said, how many hours did I have to put into this beforehand? And then not only that, but I also think I had to pack all my stuff up beforehand, and then I had to drive there, and I had to not me, but Jesse, if he's booking the show, has to coordinate with 4 different people, to get everyone there on time and make sure, did you leave yet? And
right.
Tell us the day. And then you got to pack up and you get home at 3 or 4 in the morning, and it's not easy.
Later.
It feels like easy money in the time, but then you like get there and you're like, it's not easy money.
It's not, and that's the worst part of the gig. I mean, is the tearing down and setting up and the driving back home after you're completely exhausted as it is.
Yeah.
But that's what we get paid for, right?
That's true. That is true. And I mean, like, I still, like, this year has been a year where I've played more than I've ever played my entire life. And I'm like just blown away that I don't know, like none of it has seemed like work almost, and I think that's one of those things where it's like you actually do really enjoy this. For a long time I thought people were like, oh, if you do what you enjoy, you'll never work a day in your life, and it's like, that's BS.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of like, that actually might be true though.
Well,
like to an extent.
I enjoy, there's some nights that, like for Soliday, if we play around here, and I have to work till, especially this time of year. So like Friday night, we're going to Sneakers. We play Ugly Sweater Party at Sneakers.
Cool.
It would be fun.
That's Friday. That's this Friday?
This Friday.
So that's like tomorrow if anybody's listening, the day this comes out.
It comes out Thursday, right? Yeah. So tomorrow at Ugly Sweater Party at Sneakers. But Thursday we'll go and set up. So after work, so that way I don't have to rush home and then try to get set up everything. And we have a huge production.
Yes,
anyway.
You guys have high end stuff going on.
So then we'll tear down, or we won't tear down. We might tear down, Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. But then I got to go to the Christmas show at the Decker Auditorium, which we talk about yet. But and then after that. Then Sunday I'm at CMA, Midwest CMA deal, writers round at the boardroom, Eagles ballroom.
Okay, all right.
So it's kind of like, when do you find time to do this? And not to mention I'm working for FedEx all that time
the whole time, as well.
Delivering Christmas presents.
Oh man. So you were talking about some shows coming up. I remember that was something on the slate to kind of talk about. So so you do have that the Salty Views show coming up Friday, but what else was there going on?
Salty Views is coming up Friday tomorrow.
Yep.
At the at Sneakers. Saturday, if anybody gets a chance, Brady, Mr. 17-year-old O'Brien over here.
How many 17-year-old O'Brien kids are there out there?
Not very many, I don't think. We call him Barry. That's his nickname.
Okay.
Because he plays like Barry Manilow, we always tell him.
Right,
the kid's incredible. He is actually putting on an event. It's called A Very Merry Christmas. It's at Decker Auditorium at Iowa Central Community College on Saturday night. I believe it starts at 7, doors open at 6. And they have strings and piano and vocalists and a bass and drums and Christmas trees, and it's going to snow. And I mean, it is incredible. Iowa Sound donated some of their big movable lights. I mean, it's going to be a light show and a Christmas show like no other has been in this area ever before. And if people miss this, they're going to regret it, because it's a really, really neat show.
You said that was Saturday?
That's Saturday night.
Decker?
Yep. It's a free will donation.
Decker Auditorium, is that, for the people that don't know, Fort Dodge, Iowa Central?
Fort Dodge, Iowa Central,
yep. All right.
It's a free will donation to get in. All proceeds are going back to 2 different nonprofit organizations.
Cool.
SOS here in town, and then Broken Strings is one of them too. So
nice.
I'm going to get up and I'm singing 2 songs along with them.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm going to do. And then Alyssa, who sings at Basaltic Views with me, we're singing a song together. I'm not a big Christmas Carol fan by any means, but I worked for FedEx for the last 19 years, so that's why I'm not a big Christmas guy.
Yeah.
But and it's, man, the production is just out of this world. Mark is running sound for everything. He's got his full sound system in there.
Cool.
I mean, it's going to be a neat show. And then on Sunday, the Midwest CMA. So the Midwest CMA, so everybody knows what the CMA is, Country Music Association. Well, we have a Midwest CMA. And Brad Morgan is coming up from Nashville, and he is putting on a writer's round. And so we have like Corey Waller, myself, Brad Morgan. I don't remember all of them that are going to be there, but we're going to do a writer's round that day.
All right.
And then I think like 20% of the door is going to go to Broken Strings as well. So
cool. And that was what day?
That's on Sunday.
Sunday. So you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week.
Yeah. Then back to work Monday.
Then back to work. Yep.
But Christmas is almost here, so we're good.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's a busy weekend coming up. The Midwest CMA thing will be cool. I mean,
that should be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. And they do a lot for not just country music, but music in general too. I mean, it's a great organization to be part of, and I think it's $100 a year. I think is what it is to be a member of the organization.
It's not too much.
No, I don't think so at all. And they give you props, and they help you support your music as well, and so it's a cool deal. And Brad does a nice job with that too. So looking forward to that on Sunday. That'll
be cool. Yeah, I think some of those like little networking opportunities like that are pretty nice, especially even ones that are involved with like you got to pay a subscription, you'll be in this little club of people, but then everybody in the club of people knows each other, and especially if like the parenting company kind of helps everyone out, it's not so bad, And
it's another way to network. I mean, there's a lot of musicians that are in it that people don't. A lot of really good musicians that are in it, and people don't go. They're like, "Whoa, I didn't know he was coming here."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that should be a pretty cool time.
Excuse me.
That's awesome. I mean, it feels like for a long time, a lot of us were like just redlining, playing tons and tons and tons of shows, and then around Thanksgiving-ish, it kind of started slowing down. Like it was like the night before Thanksgiving was like the big bang of like, and now it's kind of just like touch and go. But I also do know that there's like the closer we get to Christmas, the more shows there are. Once again,
yeah, you're getting close to that Christmas and New Year's, and then of course New Year's will be a big bang.
Yep.
January would probably slow down a little bit, but it just you can play anywhere you want to. It just depends what you want to do. That's why I like playing solo a lot because it doesn't cost $1,000-$2,000 for the whole band to come in there and
you don't got to bring tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff.
I can go in there and I can set up and I can play for 3 hours and I can boogie on down the road.
Yep, exactly.
And people have a great time.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I love doing too. I love doing my solo stuff, and I love doing Salty View stuff. And I can't wait till this band comes out. I cannot wait for people to hear it.
I'm stoked to hear Stiff Drink from somebody else. Honestly, like
yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I've said for a long time that a lot of us need to start like if we sat down, like me and Jesse sat down with you and we're just like, hey, help us figure out how to play one of your songs, and then just like went out and played like a Scott Kirkhart song just for fun, like I feel like that would be like the thing to do, or like have somebody choose like a Jeremy Ober song or a Chris Carr song and just start going out there and playing it, and just put your own spin on it, and why not?
Not only that, Jesse's been over here to the underground,
to the underground,
to the studio, and he came over one night. We just kind of hung out, and he showed me his new song. That he's got a new song that he wrote, and he hasn't really been recorded or anything on it. And I was like, how about you just slow it way down, man? It's got this creep kind of feel to it. Slow it down. And we did it, and he's like, whoa. He's like, and I said, man, I want to record the song, dude. And he's like, I'll let you, dude. And I was like, well, we'll see. Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So, you never know what might happen down the road.
Yeah, that's true.
Jesse and I collaborate really well together as far as writing.
Yeah.
We just need to find time to sit down and do it.
I feel like he's one that takes suggestion well, too, because you could just, like, if he gives you an idea, which that's, like, the biggest thing. It's almost like somebody's, like, made you a pizza, and you're like, could have used a little more oregano, and it's just like, but they already did all the work of making you the pizza, so next time they got a perfect pizza, with oregano or whatever, so, like.
When you're writing, I got 250 songs written that are partially written.
Yeah.
That's but it's like, okay, where do I finish this? Where's this going to go? What are you going to do with it?
Oh man.
And that's nice to have collaboration and people to collaborate with in order to make that song. Like when Stiff Drink was like, man, I had this idea. I said, he asked me, you got anything for songs? And I was like, well, man, I've been thinking about this song, how you're having a hard day at work, and man, I'm just really ready for a real stiff drink.
Yep.
And I kind of shot him a couple lyrics, And then he just kind of shot me back a couple lyrics, and like I said, the next thing you know, it just...
So, like, when you described it, it made me think, like, oh, so you're pretty much just describing Working Man by Rush. But it's, like, not even close.
No,
by the time the idea came to fruition and came out, it's like, it's not even close. Like, so...
Well, and I was on a gravel road in a FedEx truck, and it was getting later during the day, and I said, oh, that old dirt road is good for your soul. Man, I wish I had a piece of mind from my old sixth string. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, hey, that's a lyric there.
Dude, those are the best too. And I hate to say it, like I've figured out that like if you have a lyric and you don't preserve it somehow, it's gone forever. Like you'll never get it back. Like,
that's the truth. That's why you always, and your phone is really good for it. Keep typing.
It's true. Yep.
Notes.
Send yourself a message or something.
Yeah.
Anything to preserve it.
My notes in my phone is completely full of stuff.
You were talking about like writing songs and just never finishing them or having like ideas and stuff. And like today it finally dawned on me that like my problem when it comes to writing music is I create something that's nothing more than like a great backing track to play solos over, and then I just quit. Like that's where my songs all just stop there. So.
I had to learn, and every time I write is a new learning experience. And I mean, and that's what's cool about writing music, because you're constantly working on your craft, I mean, constantly. Where do you put this in? Where do you come in on a big chorus? Where's a verse at? Maybe a bridge goes in here, But it's so, I don't know, it's hard to explain unless you really get into it and do it. But the one thing that I noticed, that I tried to put too damn much into a song at one time. And I hate to say it, but you have to dumb it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
Less is better.
That's true.
But you can still tell a story.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it's easier to start out basic and add a couple things than it is to get too convoluted and find out what you have to delete.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like what I would say would be the toughest part, because it's like you want to have enough in there to make it unique, but there is a point in time where it just gets too busy, and then you're like, if I start deleting stuff, this song loses what it is now. So you got to find the right stuff to take out where, and I don't know. I'm saying all this being not a good songwriter. Like I've never written a song that has been like start to finish completed that I've went out and performed, other than like in high school, and that was all like punk stuff, And nowadays, like all the stuff I write, it's just kind of like I said, just more or less just.
But you don't know until you try it, I mean, I think that too every time I write something. I'm just like, well, I don't know if I like the song or not, and then you just let it go, and then all of a sudden people are like, dude, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not up to you to decide whether or not it's cool either. So
that's the hard part, is because you're putting yourself out there.
I think that's
when you do that, and you're gonna get some ridicule. You're gonna get some.
I think that's my biggest fear, honestly.
But it is. But that's just part of it. I mean, some people are gonna love it.
Yeah.
Some people are gonna hate it. Mm-hmm. And that's the best part about music, is they can just go on to a different song.
That's true. There's a gazillion songs. They don't have
to like it, because the likers are going to love it. You know what I mean?
Yep. That is true. Okay. Yeah, you're bringing up good points. So, I mean, there's inspiration for anybody listening to this that has maybe written a song, or has something in their back pocket they just have hid from the world.
It's hard to put yourself out there.
My gosh.
And there's some really good songwriters around this area. I mean, there really is. Clint's great.
Yep.
Clint's a storyteller.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't know how he remembers so many words to tell insane amounts of stories.
Clint, how do you do it? Ober, there's another one. But he's like really in-depth storyteller too, Corey Waller is a great.
Oh yeah.
Is a great writer, and Jesse is a great writer.
Oh yeah.
And and every time they come out with something new, it's even better and better.
It's better than the last one. Which is hard to believe, but it is. Like, it shouldn't be possible, but it is.
You just got to kind of keep on going. Yeah,
eventually you'd think there'd be diminishing returns on some of that, but there really hasn't been on any of their songs. And you're talking about that kind of stuff, like Clint stuff. It's basic chords and capos and storytelling, but it's like, he's the one out there doing it. Like I always think like this shouldn't be too hard to do, but then when you sit down, you're like, how do you figure all the words out to tell this story?
Right.
How did you know that you wanted to put the capo on your 6th fret? Like who puts a capo? Like what? Stuff like that.
What made you do that?
Yeah.
Right?
And he's just like, it sounds good there, and it's like, okay, like
truth.
Yeah. So he decides that stuff.
I guess that writing is its own niche. But keep writing, because musicians have music pouring out of them.
It's true.
All the time. I mean, yes, you have your guitar players. Mm-hmm. You have the people that are really learning and learning how to learn.
Learning how to learn. I like
you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, they don't even know what questions to ask.
Right. No, not yet. I mean, you're teaching lessons now, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I could have the patience to do it. I'll give a guy a guitar so they can come to you and get it. You know what I mean?
Some days it's better than others, but it's not bad, honestly.
But it's hard for me to explain how to do it, and I don't know. That's like you and Ober, you guys got that down because I don't know if I could.
Dude, I've bounced so many ideas off Ober because of that.
Do you? Yeah. And he's a phenomenal instructor.
Yeah.
And he's really good with the kids.
Yeah, we talked about that. The only caveat is you got to show up wanting to play.
Right.
Otherwise, it comes back to he doesn't want to waste anyone's time or money. Not his or anyone else's. So.
So back onto that. So, what I'm trying to get at is, we have music pouring out of us at all times. Mm-hmm. Whether it's you got a song inside of you, whether you have to play guitar to feel normal again. Because, man, I'm telling you what, there's some days that there's been 2 days I haven't picked up the guitar. I got to sit down and play guitar for a while. Mm-hmm. It's not what we do, it's who we are when it comes to music now. I mean, that's the level that I'm at, and I know Jesse's at, mm-hmm. and I know you're at, and Ober's at, Clint's at, and, Corey Waller, and, Ron Lee King. It's who we are as music. Mm-hmm. And that is crazy to me. Yeah. When did that happen?
I don't know. I get it. Like, I don't think music is the only thing that defines me, and it probably isn't the only thing that defines a lot of us, but it's a major part of us. Like, it's therapeutic to us, I think, to an extent, and that's like one of the things where everyone's got something, whether or not it's like, I have to have 2 jobs, otherwise if I'm stagnant, my brain is goes too haywire or whatever, and like maybe this is our second job, or this is our form of party, and we're not out there having beers on Friday nights. We're out there playing music on Friday, maybe having a beer too, but like, but still, right, and I never realized that until Jesse and I were playing a show somewhere, and as crazy as this sounds, like I had worked, and then I got off work, and there was like a field fire, like out on a farm that I live at. So like I had to go out and like fight a field fire, and I was just out there like fighting this field fire. Like I just want to roll into this fire and call it a day. Just like it's over with. I'm having no fun doing this. I'm like burning my face and stuff, And I got done, and I was like, all right, I got just enough time to haul my gear and run halfway across the state to this show with Jesse. And we get there, and the whole drive over there, I'm driving there by myself, and I'm just like this. Like, I'm just having the worst day ever, and I'm just mad at everything. And I showed up, and we started playing music, and it wasn't until I was done playing music that I was like, I never thought about any of that stuff that happened earlier in the day at all, once for like 4 hours. Right. And that's the thing that I think music does to a lot of us, is it just helps us get to a place of zen that does not,
Yeah, that's the way it is. I mean, it's... And I think, but when does that point in your career of music, when does that happen?
That's a good question.
I remember growing up, and I played drums in jazz band, and I played drums in college, and all of a sudden I was like, I don't want to play drums anymore, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't play anything for a really long time. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden one day I'm like, I want to pick up guitar and just learn how to play guitar.
Yeah.
And when did that become...
just the thing you're doing, like all the time? What
makes up your chemistry of who you are?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, because that's what it is.
Yeah. Honestly, that's true. And there's a good argument for that, because like I do distinctly recall, like when I was younger, playing like power chords and things like that, on like punk songs from memory and stuff. I didn't know anything about music theory or nothing,
Sure.
And then it wasn't until I was like 27 where I actually sat down and was like, I'm going to try and figure this out. But I can't tell you exactly when it didn't become work anymore and it became fun.
Right.
And that's the biggest kicker, is like you have to get through this crappy work stage first until all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you're just having fun playing the instrument,
And when I give a guitar away for broken strings, and I see these kids, and they're so excited to get a guitar, right? I mean, just their eyes are just lit up, like, wow, this is awesome, And I know that they go home and they try to play a G chord.
Yeah.
And then try to switch to a C chord or a D chord and get all pissed off because it's so hard to do, right?
Yeah.
And I know that's probably discouraging to them at times. But what I can say to them is keep going.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden it's going to click.
Yep.
And you build that muscle memory up. And next thing you know, you're playing in the dark.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you're not looking at the fretboard anymore.
Yep.
You're feeling that music, man, coming right through what you're playing, you know?
Yeah.
And is the best feeling of anything. Is when you're sitting by yourself and you're just practicing and soloing or noodling around or whatever you're doing. And then all of a sudden it's like, where did that come from? You know? So keep going to those kids because, you know, like the kids that you're teaching and what Jeremy's teaching, keep going. Push through them hard times.
There's one kid I'm giving lessons to, and I gave lessons to his older brother like a couple years ago. And now they're like playing guitar together at their house, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing ever!" You know,
that's cool.
You know? And you know, his brother got to a point where he's like, I've learned enough where I can figure some of this out on my own, and it's like, if that's what you want to do, that's cool, you know.
Yeah.
And then I can just start over with your little brother, and then you guys can meet in the middle somewhere. And
well, you know, and some of the kids that I give the guitars away to, I'll get videos from their parents.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Of them playing, and I'm like, oh, man, that is so awesome.
That makes
makes
me happy. You know?
Well, it is. And their band players are playing with, or their band instructors are sitting down with them and playing with them, or their older brothers playing guitar and they're playing with them. You know, and it's like, man, check this out. And then, you know, and like I told them, the last big event that we had was a private event. It was a pretty cool event. It was just Ober and I playing, and we gave 2 guitars away that night to Carroll High and then Kemper High School. And when we did, we gave it to these kids. Man, they were great guys. And I looked at them and I said, you learn how to play and you network with other musicians, you become part of a family.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. I mean, we got good friends.
We do.
That
Oh
we
my
met
gosh,
just from
we
playing
sure do.
music, right?
Yeah. Yes, there's some really good people out there.
You know what? And I would die for all of them. I mean, they're all good people.
Yes.
And they would give you the shirt off your back if you could.
That's my favorite thing about the music scene, I think, is there's some unsuspecting, really good people out there, you know? Like,
Yeah,
you know?
completely.
It's like when I first started doing this, my conduit to a lot of the Fort Dodge people was ironically Nick Kerkhart, because he was like the guy I knew from Humboldt that played music, you know?
Yeah, Nick was the first one who said, hey, man, get a hold of this guy. You need to do a podcast.
Yeah, so he started hitting me up with all these people, you know, and he's like, this guy's a real good guy, but Nick Kerkhart thinks everyone's a good guy because Nick's a good guy.
Nick's a
you
great
know?
dude.
Yeah, so, and it was one of those things where I started, like, you know, running into some of the people around the area, and I was like, gosh, all these people are like really great people, you know? And I was nervous at first, you know, because it's just like, oh, these Fort Dodge musicians, look out, they're going to be crazy. And it's like, no, they're all actually super good people.
That's what made you a better player.
It honestly was, yeah.
I mean, when you surround yourself with people that are better than you, holy cow, does that make you improve, you know?
That's everything I do except for kids I give lessons to.
Oh, come on.
No, for real.
Your chops are killer, man. We play on jam night a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's another thing. It's hard to see how far you've come when you just sit out there and play every day, you know?
Yeah.
You kind of almost have to look at like where you were at a year or two ago, or like what you were playing and things like that.
You have to.
But
and be proud of the steps that we have all taken. I mean, you know, look at Jesse.
oh my gosh, yeah.
Right? I mean, dude, he's killing it.
From out of
I'm
nowhere,
so proud
like,
of him.
like 2 years ago, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like not even 2 years ago.
Yeah, this is something that he wanted to do.
Yeah, and he was just like, I'm going to do this.
And you know, the hardest person on Jesse is himself.
Of course.
And it should be. I mean,
Yep.
it's probably the hardest person I'm on was myself.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but he's killing it.
Yeah.
You know, one of my best friends. You know, what a great dude.
Yep.
And I love playing music with you guys. When we go to jam night at Barnum,
Oh,
what
yeah.
fun,
It's so much fun.
And every time I seem to show up, it's like, next thing you know, they got 20 other musicians in there all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where the hell did this come
When it
from?
rains, it pours there.
Right?
It's pretty wild. Yeah, we'll go there and there'll be one drummer for a whole night. And then the next week there's 6 drummers, and it's like I didn't even know there were 6 drummers in Fort Dodge. And they're all here. So
and Brad and what he's doing with recording, and Jesse's learning recording. And Brad will come over and help Jesse.
Yep.
I mean, it's just literally we have a family here. Some of us might be an outcast once in a while, but.
Yeah. But it's nobody's trying to lord anything over anyone else. Like Brad's not just like, I know how to record stuff and I'm never telling anyone everything. Nothing.
No.
I'm keeping all the secret. Like nobody's ever done that.
Right. No. I've never seen it. I mean,
no. I mean, I'm not just trying to pick on Brad or whatever, but it's all of us doing that.
Yeah.
Like if Clint gets a booking somewhere, he tells people it's cool. You should go there.
Well, even Chris Carr, he was like, hey man, I lost my voice. I can't play in Cedar Falls tonight. Are you available?
Mm-hmm.
No, I couldn't that night, unfortunately. But thank you for thinking of me. We're gonna try to get it taken care of.
Yep.
And it's just,
dude, and that's also another thing. It's like knowing that somebody else in your scene trusts you enough with a gig that they had booked. You know. And
absolutely.
I mean, I'm gonna say Jesse and I did play a show this year that was kind of like that. We took a booking for somebody else. And it might have been Clint because he double booked. I'm not sure, but it was one of those types of deals. It's like, dude, that's probably the most heartwarming thing ever to know that somebody else would recommend you to a venue.
And I have no problem recommending any of my buddies that play.
Yeah.
And I have. You know what I mean? Hey, I can't play, but maybe Ober, try Jesse, try Clint.
Well, now you're gonna have another opportunity with that if you end up doing Kerkhart with an opener, like you had stated originally, because that could be another networking opportunity where you could just be like. You could just come and play some acoustic stuff, and then we're going to blow the doors off, or whatever it happens to be.
That's kind of what the plan is, and that's what we want to do.
Perfect. Amazing. Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, you come up and play for an hour, man. That's what you got to do. Oh, really? Okay. All you got to do is bring your guitar.
Yep. Yeah, and the first half of the night, everyone gets some nice, easy music, and then the rest of the night, it gets more rocking.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
It sounds like a great formula for success, honestly. So
I don't know. We're going to find out.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm looking forward to it. Every bit of it.
Oh man, that's cool. That's really cool. I'm super happy for you. You've been, like I said, you've been working hard, and it's not just with. Like I said, I would call it like your big 3: Solo, Salty View, and Broken Strings. For people that don't know, Broken Strings, if this is the first time you're listening to it, nonprofit organization. Your goal is to give a guitar to somebody in every school district.
Yep, 367
a child in every school district. So you're on your way. You've got the donations, you got the money. You're just figuring out all the logistics and going through it and booking shows around it and doing events around it in certain areas and stuff. So
booking events are hard because I want all my buddies to play all these events.
They're all booked.
I'm like, yeah, sorry, man, I know you're booked, and by the way, I can't pay you either, hardly. So,
exactly.
But they're doing it, which is thank you everybody who has been part of Broken Strings, or we've given away about 13, I think, guitars. I think altogether, I think so far, which isn't much. And I was like, oh, gung-ho, we're going to do this in a year. Dude, there's no way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no way when you're in 3 bands and have a full-time job.
Right.
Plus running an organization, so.
Correct.
Yeah.
But we're going to get it done. I mean, that's and I have a board. The board behind me is awesome. We got some huge things coming up.
Cool.
For Broken Strings, like nationwide stuff coming up for Broken Strings, which is going to be neat.
That's sweet.
Y'all need to check out the Black Donnellys sometime. It's a band out of Las Vegas. They broke a bunch of world records. One of them was the longest set ever at like 114 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Think about that. I can't even imagine. Non-stop music for 114 hours.
That's what, 4.5 days?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And they just broke another one. It was like 55 shows in 50 or 65 shows in 35 or 65 shows in 50 states in 35 days.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. So they're pulling like the border hopping on the edge of towns.
Crazy,
like
right?
Early,
I mean,
shows.
It's
that's
insane.
Wild.
And they did that now. So the next one in a couple of years they want to do is they want to do the most guitars played on one song at one time. So they want to play Hey Jude with 5,000 guitars.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
At one time.
I love seeing those videos where they have 500 people playing Back in Black or something. That'd be so awesome.
Well, anyways, so that's coming down the pipe. That might be a huge thing for Broken Strings.
That would be so cool.
My board member, Jason Hacker, met them, talked to them about it. They're all on board and want to go. We're probably flying out to Vegas sometime next year to meet with these guys, and which is really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they want to do that now, I think somewhere in Iowa now instead of in Las Vegas with all the guitars. So
that'll actually be really cool.
That'll be neat.
It'll make the taxation easier.
So anyways, and if that's all it go, we'll find out. That's just some of the things that are, that are happening with Broken Strings. And my board members are killer. They help a lot.
It's a good thing you got going there for sure. And I think this was a good year for you guys just to set a base level of this is an example of what we can do, Yeah. And you can crank it up from there,
Yeah. I mean, and we plan on it, and I got some huge supporters behind me doing that, and along with my, and I couldn't do anything without Tammy. Thank you. She's a go hard, and every time I get an idea in my head, and I don't know why I always do, but I get an idea in my head, and all of a sudden we make it come, make it realization, which is cool. And that's kind of where this band started off. I had an idea in my head. That's where Broken Strings started off, and I was like, okay, now what's next?
Yep. That's kind of crazy, though. I mean, you're just starting all these things and just kind of releasing them out into the wild and letting them go.
Well, like I always say, those premonitions pop into my head for a reason. Let's just go for it. Let's just do it.
I think that's honestly a good thing to be that might be the thing of this episode is just go for it, honestly.
And that isn't just me, but that's everybody.
Yeah.
Jesse, you want to go to Nashville?
Go for it.
Go for it.
And those guys look like they had an absolute blast.
I wanted to go so bad. Yeah. I know you did too.
Yeah.
And I'm we're right in the middle of peak season.
And Clint's giving me crap about not going, and I was on not mandatory, but highly recommended overtime. And they were a week before, they're like, you want to go? And I'm like, I can't request a week in advance. So,
I was the same way. And it was kind of like, Jesse, sorry.
Yeah.
I got to stay here.
Yeah. I got to do work.
I feel terrible, man. But no, it looks like they had a blast, man. Good for them. Yeah. You never know. Look at all the networking they're doing now, right there. I mean, look, they're meeting different musicians from all over the country. So,
yeah, I don't care if you come back with one person's name.
Right.
That's more than none.
Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And you never know what's going to happen.
No, right. So, that's why. And if you can get out there and you want to play more of these shows, get out there. Go to a different state. Go play. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. Book a show somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because why not?
People don't know you. You can do whatever the hell you want to do on stage.
You can be as crazy as you want.
Yeah.
You can be as high energy. That's the thing that I think is fun was when I started playing shows in Des Moines, nobody down there knew me. Even though I had stood in the crowd and watched so many of them play before. Nobody knew me. So I could go up on stage and go all nuts if I wanted to, run up one side of the stage and down the other and play the guitar behind my head or get on my knees and shred and stuff, whatever I want to do. And it's normal.
I think it's awesome.
They will, honestly. And it is crazy though when we're done playing shows, it's people will look at that. So there's something to be said about playing out of town or out of your normal area.
Well, I'll never forget when I first started doing my first solo gig ever, and I didn't want to do it. Oh, man, I was so nervous. And Chris Carr was the one that says, you go book a damn show or I'm going to go book one for you. And I'm like, oh, man, come on. And I remember sitting there, and I didn't want to do it in my hometown because, man, that's your biggest judges right there. It's in your own hometown, right? Yeah. So I went to early Iowa at the Crossroads Cafe, I think, and booked. And I had an old buddy of mine who played for an hour before I did, so I didn't have to fill so much time. And my leg was shaking and quivering the whole time I was doing it. As you look back on that, that's some of the best times of my life right there. And it's something I'm never going to forget.
Yeah. Honestly, some of those are the most fun shows too. As gut wrenching as they are, Like,
they are.
The relieved feeling when, like, the light is at the end of the tunnel and you're like, I'm going to pull this off.
Yeah,
like,
you're nervous as hell. Yeah. And then it's like, all it takes is one person to, you see them doing this, you know, they're bouncing, they're bobbing their head or their hands are tapping on the table or their knee or something like that. Yep. It's like, I got this guy. He's into this, you know? And now, like I said, the other day, it was crazy. And I've had people sing my song back to me. But when I played at the Carroll Brewing Company the other day, and Brady was playing keys with me, so it was just him on keys and me acoustic solo. I didn't even sing the back part of my song. They sang it to me.
That's awesome.
And I was like, tears just rolled down my face. It was the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. I'm like, awesome. That's awesome. I just made something that these people know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you have the lyrics for them up there. They listened to that beforehand and knew it was coming.
They know the song, right? I mean, and they do that with Stiff Drink. There's another one of them songs too, you know? And it's like, people love it.
And they're doing this unprompted. It's not like we're going online saying, like, learn these songs and yell them at me at shows. We're all going to be so cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, it's on their playlist, their Spotify playlist and their Apple Music playlist. And that's what they're doing.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, keep it up. You know, Jesse, keep writing.
Yep.
Ober, keep writing. Because I'll tell you what, Ober's album, the White Album, you know, that's on one of my playlists, the whole thing.
That's good.
Clint Riedel, the stuff that he's got on Apple Music right now, I listen to it probably every other day anymore.
More to come.
I let it,
more to come.
and I literally like, I just let it sit there and play in the FedEx truck. You know, I mean, that's what I do, and it's I love their music. I know you, and I could sing a couple of Ober songs.
Yeah. I've done it. I've been there, done that. You know, that used to be my parlor trick was going out there and playing East Side Window for people. But
and I love it, and people love it. They're like, yeah,
it's pretty fun.
East Side Window, man,
it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Great tune. And how many years ago did you let that out?
10, maybe.
Right.
You know,
and it's still going.
I remember that song being played on the radio when I was like out of high school, maybe 4 or 5 years out of high school. And I was just like, oh my God, it's Jeremy Ober's on the radio. Like, this is so cool. You know,
if he'd come out with like a live video or something like that of him doing that, that would pop that song again.
Oh yeah.
Again.
Yep. Oh, it's good stuff, man. That's good. That's some tasty stuff.
It is.
And that's the thing. Like, there's so many talented people up here, you being one of them. And it makes me happy to know that I can, you know, I came into a music scene that was very friendly, and it was established well before I got here, you know, and everyone welcomed me well enough into it. And I mean, even as far as like having a podcast, you guys welcomed that, because there's some people that aren't as, it sounds dumb, but there's some people that aren't as welcoming to having free publicity thrown around all over the internet, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I understand, I suppose, but you know, what you do and what you started was a complete different thing. You're like, I want to interview these people because you love music, right? And I want to know more about these people, and we're going to get this out more to more public. I mean, I can't imagine what your listenership is now. I'm sure it's
some weeks it's like 400 plus people.
Yeah, that's killer.
Which is extreme. Like, it's pretty wild.
You know,
some weeks are less, but still.
Well,
you know.
But still, though, I mean, people listen. You know, that's a lot of people listening. You know, people recognize you by your voice.
That also blew me away.
Right? I heard that, you know, but it's the truth. And people, you know, they notice me by my voice. And like Ober's the same way. You know, when an Ober walks in because he's got this hat on, you know, and he's pulled down, he's like, hey, how you doing, brother?
That's awesome. Dude, and that was something else, like, speaking of your voice, some of my friends from Des Moines have been like swinging up now and then to jam night in Barnum just to check it out. And I remember one of them, like, you were there one of the first nights, some of my friends were there, and they're like, that big guy's got this awesome voice. It's so distinguishable. And it's like, it's
just an old raspy voice.
But nobody else has that, man.
No, I know.
Nobody else has that.
I know. And that's, you know, there's times that, like, but it's crazy because there's times like I'm like, I love my voice, but damn it, why couldn't I sound like this? You know?
But how many people are saying that sound exactly like what you want to sound? How many people wish they could sound like you?
Yeah, and I get that too. But you know, and it's kind of like some of these Christmas songs, I'm like, oh man, if I could sing it a little more like this, and I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna do me.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
Yep, I'll do me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, man, I think we've covered most of what we wanted to cover. We always go over on these podcasts, you and me, because there's a million things to talk about.
Yeah, there is.
So let's see here. I'm trying to think, like, what all did we talk about talking about?
So we got a new band.
Yep. Kerkhart.
Kerkhart.
Yep.
Yeah, check it out.
Yep.
We'll be out this summer.
Nice. Yep.
That's the plan anyway.
6 months.
Yep. Solo stuff.
Yep. Got a
upcoming shows.
Show Friday, show Saturday.
Oh,
show
merch.
Sunday.
New merch is coming out here soon.
Kerkhart merch?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool.
What about these Broken Strings hats?
Broken Strings are always available.
Strings hat right now?
Yeah, you like that Broken Strings hat?
I honestly really do.
The bad part is I don't have mine on. I always like the Richardson hats.
Yep.
But
they're on back order.
They're completely back ordered, like everywhere in the country.
All of my buddies I know that make these kind of things are just like, you can get like two styles of them, and they're the styles nobody wants.
My buddy Tom Bolin found these over at Black Bison Outfitters in Lakeview, and he made these for us, and he does all our T-shirts. Jim Jensen did some hats and some shirts for us too out of Trophies Plus. Dear friends, and if it wasn't for music, I would have never met any of these people. I mean, straight up, Jim and Darlis Jensen at Trophies Plus are music lovers. He used to play in a band, and they are huge supporters of live music. Financially, they support what people believe in. Broken Strings. I mean, unreal the amount of support from these people. Tom Boland's another one. The Carol Brewing Company, everybody there is so supportive of everything and live music. And just, if it wasn't for music, I would have never found any of those people.
That's true.
That's
very true, man.
And that's, and I wouldn't have the friends that I do if it wasn't that way. So
yeah, it's really good. Is there I don't want to just end it there, but is there anything else we want to gloss over before we roll out of here for the night?
I don't know. Just be on the lookout. 2022 is going to be a good year.
Yeah, I mean that's I keep thinking. If you think 2021 was crazy, there's so many people with so many plans in 2022.
Yeah,
you're no different. So I'm excited. I'm really excited, man. I really am. This is going to be tons of fun. It's I think this is going to be the year where a lot of us put our names on the map.
I hope so.
One way or the other.
I hope we all do, man.
Yep.
I mean, I can't, and I support everybody around this area. Keep doing what you're doing, right? Remember what we said? Just keep doing it.
Just keep doing it.
Go for it.
Yep.
Because life is far too short. I mean, man, have we lost some good people. And you never know when your time is up. So
that's true.
Why not just enjoy the hell out of it everywhere you go?
Yep. If you're not having fun, I don't know what you're doing.
And if I could teach my kids that one thing in life, it's just to go for it.
Oh my gosh. Think of all the time you or I in our own lives have wasted time just not going for it, either because we're scared or we're just lazy or
we're afraid what people are going to say.
Yeah.
Why the hell would this person do this?
And why the hell does their opinion matter? I hate
at all, dude.
Youth is wasted on the young. Why do we have to get in our 30s and 40s to realize I should have just done this?
So I want to look at some of my best friends like Chessie.
Yep.
And you and Ober and Clint and Corey Waller and Ronley and everybody that's in the band with me. And
you're pulling people out of the woodworks that aren't players every single day on bands.
And I'm like, just go for it, man. Let's live this life and let's have fun while we're doing it.
That's awesome.
So that's what 2022 is going to be all about.
It's going to be some good times, man. Hey, I appreciate you sitting down talking with me, man.
Thanks, brother.
Absolutely. Oh, there we go. Another episode with Mr. Scott Kirkhart. Such a fun guy, such a cool guy. He's got lots of stuff going on, and this episode is a testament to that. I do have to say thanks to him for sitting down and talking with me on short notice this week. I mean, I've been kind of struggling to get episodes out. I've been super busy, and then being sick on top of that didn't really help anything. So glad I got to sit down with Scott before I did get sick, and I'm feeling a little bit better now, but got shows this weekend. We'll have to see. We'll have to play it by ear. I'm not sure they're going to happen. Maybe they'll happen without me. I don't know. Just feeling a little under the weather, and I don't want to get anyone else sick. So we'll see what happens. And, I hope everybody out there is feeling good through the holidays. Hope everybody stayed safe through the storm that happened in Iowa not too long ago. I guess today, the day this comes out, is Thursday, so it happened yesterday on Wednesday. But, yeah, lots of damage everywhere, lots of crazy stuff happening. So hope everybody stayed warm, hope it stayed dry, stayed out of the wind, found a safe place to hunker down. So just got to give a shout out once again to Scott. He's working so hard to do literally anything and everything he can and wants to do, honestly. Like we talk about that, you gotta have that desire to go do stuff, and then if you have an idea, just go do it. If it fails and you don't like it, then I guess if it fails or you don't like it, you don't have to do it anymore. You chose to do it, you can choose not to do it. So hats off to him for just working super hard. New band coming out, all this crazy stuff with Broken Strings upcoming, so keep an eye on that. He told me about some of the stuff that he has in the works after the podcast episode, after we recorded it, and nothing is really set in stone yet, but holy cow, he's got big ideas. So check out Broken Strings. I got links for pretty much everything down below, so check that out. He does have merch for Broken Strings as well. Find him at a show, hit him up. I think you could probably hit him up on the Broken Strings social media and say, hey, I want one of your hats or something like that, and he could probably help you out too. So hats off to Scott for being such a good guy, and hats off to you guys for being patient with me while I struggle to get these episodes out here as of late. Once again, I apologize. Working hard, working 6 days a week and doing all that stuff, it's starting to finally take its toll, and then getting sick was not the cherry on top I was hoping for. So thank you guys for listening. Check out all the Audible Farm stuff down below. I've promoted it in every episode. The shop, the YouTube channel, you can listen for free. Patreon channel to watch the video versions, even though those have been coming out later and later, because it just takes so much extra time to edit them. And just been busy. So once again, I apologize to everyone for being busy and not having everything out when I say I would. So I apologize, but hey, the episode's out on Thursday, so I did the best I could. So thank you guys very much for enjoying the Audible Farm podcast. I had a lot of people message me this morning and asking me if I'm okay. And other than being sick, yeah, I'm definitely okay. So thank you guys all for checking in on me. I really appreciate that. And I'll check you guys out next week. So thank you very much. Peace.